So I travel full time in my van here with my cat Spaz, and this is my very first collective message. Now, I don't use tarot cards. I just simply use my divine senses, aka psychic abilities. I just can't stand the word psychic. But my abilities are pretty strong. I'm pretty tapped in. So we're going to do something a little different from what you're used to. Now, my divine senses are clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, and pretty much all of them. We have all of these abilities. And by the way, if you're interested in learning how you can strengthen them so that you can have a better and more fulfilling life, then go to my website and you're going to see a bunch of different options there, but you're looking for Awaken Your Inner Oracle. I teach this online and in person. My plan is to continue doing this series where it's basically a week in every single month, and I give you a collective message that is going to help you at some point in your life. And if you guys enjoy it, please let me know in the comments so I can keep doing it. So that way I know, and then I can continue doing it, or just focus on my other YouTube series, which by the way is called Earthbound Journeys. And you get a chance to follow me as I interview people around the world while I drive my camper van full time. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. What I like to do is do a quick grounding technique, and that is just 3 breaths in, 3 breaths out. And if you have time, please do that with me. That way you can tap in as well. So what I'm already immediately feeling is there's a lot of change that's happening right now with someone. Someone has decided to go ahead and get a divorce, to quit their 9-to-5, which is sounding very similar to my story, which I appreciate you. And I'm so proud of you, first of all, for making that decision. But someone's making a drastic decision that's going to change the course of their life, and they're not sure what the other side of that looks like. And I just want to remind you that you don't need to know. Whenever we make these decisions, it's usually because we've known that it needed to be made a long time ago, and our body, our soul, our mind is just now catching up. So in our body and our mind, it's just now catching up because our soul's already been there. So to this particular person that has made this major decision in their life, life-changing, and has no idea what the other side of it looks like, remember, the how, the when, the why, that does not matter. That is all ego. We don't need to know. All you need to do right now is trust. Everything will work out because it always has. Let's be honest with you. Let's be honest here. It's always worked out, right? So why would it not work out this time? What we want to do is relinquish the feeling of control. What we want to do is relinquish the idea that we have control, full control. And yes, we do in a way, but when we start manifesting things and the momentum starts, the only way you could stop it, is if you start with self-doubt, is if you start forcing the outcome. So we don't want to do that. What we want to do is allow. We want to be able to allow so that we can receive these messages, because you're also receiving messages, but we'll talk about that later. So to the person that is making this drastic decision, this big move, literally, it's a big move too. So not only is there an ending, there's also this new beginning where you're physically moving somewhere, and it's somewhere you've never been before, not at least lived there. Okay. You're afraid that the decision is going to affect someone or people in your family, people that are close to you, and it will affect them. And there's going to be guilt. What we want to do is move past that guilt, and we want to be transparent. We want to make sure that we're sharing why we're doing what we're doing. And even regardless of whether someone understands or not, this is for you. You have to. That anxiety that you felt in your body that was growing and growing until you finally made the decision. And this is how you know it's the right decision. It's because once you made it, no more anxiety. There's a release that's happening in your body and in your soul. No longer waking up in the morning thinking about it, stressing about it, going to sleep stressing about it, throughout the day stressing about it. No more of that. It's a big release, and that's how you know the decision that you've made in any facet of your life was the right decision. Perfect example is when I decided to leave my husband. my ex-husband, I had that anxiety for probably a year and a half, but it got worse and worse over time, to the point where I was stressed out. I was crying. I was really upset. And I was actually grieving, had no idea that I was grieving our relationship before I had even ended it. So think about it. In what ways have you been grieving this thing that that's been hard for you to let go of before you made the decision? Because that was an opportunity for you. That's a gift in a way. In what ways are you fantasizing about leaving this specific situation? These are all signs that it's time for you to go. So I know this has been a very dramatic collective reading. What I'm going to do is go ahead and move away from the move and the big decision, and because something else is coming up right now. So just give me 1 second. Okay, so there's also an overhaul of your environment when it comes to toxicity. More specifically, the food that you eat, the people around you, the things that you're wearing on your body. This is a very common thing that's happening for a lot of people right now. People are realizing that the things around them, their environment, is just not cohesive to what they want in their life. It's not conducive to their actual overall health and goals. So how can we make these changes slowly so that we're not making impulsive decisions and getting clear on our intentions on why we would even get rid of these things? The first thing would be considering, what can you gain letting go of something that is toxic to you, to your body, to your soul? What can you gain from that? I'm thinking about moving because my car is kind of parked. I think I'm going to park a little bit closer to the ledge here because I don't want no one hitting my van. I'm waiting for my favorite coffee shop to open right now. I really hope they're open today because they have weird hours. So I'm in Truth or Consequences right now, by the way. I'm actually heading to New Orleans next. And okay, awesome. So they brought that up. They had me bring that up because of trust again. Not just trust in yourself, but also trust in the universe. Because what I was about to say is, I don't have funds right now, guys. Every time I book a reading, a psychic reading session, divine sense session, whatever resonates with you, when I have these 45 minutes with someone and that's paid, that pays my gas, my food to get to the next city and nothing else. So I'm living trusting the universe right now. I have no other choice. And I love that because it's an honest test for me. It's like, yeah, I say I trust the universe, but do I really trust? Yeah. It's like, well, guess what? This is my home. If something happens to this, I don't have anywhere else to go. So I would say I'm trusting. So in what ways right now can you not necessarily do as dramatic as I was, as I did, and purchase a van and live in it, but how can you test yourself and your trust in the universe? Do something that you wouldn't normally do because you feel like you need to be proactive to do it or be prepared, so to speak. Let's say you want to go on a road trip. Don't do any planning. Just go. Get in your car and drive and see what happens. Next thing you know, you're going to run into someone who says they have an Airbnb and they have it open for you or something. And this is getting kind of sketchy. Maybe not do that. But you know what I mean? Don't just go to someone's house. But, the perfect example is just, let's say you are looking for something, you spark up a conversation with a stranger and they have exactly what you're looking for. This is how it works, guys. I'm telling you. So let's go over it really quick. So you're making a big move, a big change in your life, big shift. That's also going to lead to you getting rid of toxicity in your life. And all of these two major things that's happening, is being able to trust the information being provided to you. Now, how do I do that? How do I know whether it's intuition or whether it's, just my fear, right? Intuition is a deep, deep, deep body feeling that you have to get used to learning and get used to feeling. And that's how you know. So this intuitive feeling that you're feeling, it's usually warmth. It's wisdom. It's a hard yes and no, or no. Fear is very restrictive. It's in the gut as far as it's also in your breath too. Sometimes we hold our breath when we're fearful of something. And then what happens also is in our mind, we start fantasizing or visualizing the worst thing happening. Fear is a very, very, very clear feeling. I think intuition is what people get hung up on. But don't forget, I just want to remind you guys have a soul team, a whole soul team on the other side in the astral plane that's waiting for you to ask for help. They're literally waiting for you to say something out loud and say, hey, I need help with this. They're not going to help you unless you ask. So if you're stuck, So if you're stuck on deciding on whether it's intuition or fear, ask. Your body will tell you. And most important, this is what I do. And this is what I did last night, actually, when I was deciding on a specific decision in my life. I breathe in 3 times, breathe out 3 times. And sometimes this happens. Before I even ask my question, I'll get an answer. But I asked my question out loud and I got an answer. And the answer sounded, it was my voice, yes. But it was a more confident, sure of, trusting, wise version of myself, which I like to call my higher self. So trust that voice. That is the voice you're looking for. If you have divine senses and you know you've been seeing things you can't explain, hearing things you can't explain, feeling things you can't explain, we all have these abilities, guys. I'm telling you right now, you're tapping into them. The question is, which one is your dominant sense? That is how you're going to receive the information from spirit. Maybe you have multiple dominant senses, but you have to ask these questions. We're going into a world right now where we can't trust our decision makers anymore. We have to be able to go within to get the answers that we need. And if you don't feel confident doing that, then unfortunately you will still be the rat stuck in the race right now. You're not going to be able to trust. You're going to be fearful. You're going to be making decisions that are not going to be in alignment with you and your family. So in what steps today can you take to start trusting the voice within? Not just for you, but also for the collective, because I do believe in unity consciousness. So if you think that this is not important, remember, this is not 100% about you. This is not just about you. This is about you and everyone else. So this is exactly what I consider whenever I feel fear, whenever I don't want to do an in-person class because I'm too afraid and I don't want to be in front of people speaking. I'm afraid to be perceived, because that's really what it is, public speaking. You know, people who struggle with public speaking is a fear to be perceived. And that's exactly what it is. I fully accept that. And you know how I move past it? I remind myself that this work that I'm doing is not just for me, it's for you also. And I want to help you. So that's the end of my collective message, or collective message video, I guess I'll call it. Please let me know what you think in the comments. I really appreciate your feedback. I'm going to do this for a while. Again, this is from the dates of April 1st to April 8th, or 7th. And then I'm going to keep doing it every single week of every month. So also, if you're interested in following my journey with my cat in my van and who I'm going to interview next, then get me on Earthbound Journeys, which is a series on my YouTube channel here. Again, it's called Earthbound Journeys. And let me know what you think in the comments. So don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate you all. Peace.